Hey guys, welcome back to 1,000 Movies Before You Die. It's me, Toby, half of the Nate and Tobe combo. Today we're doing 1958's Murder by Contract, a fun little film. Stick around and see if it fits into 1,000 Movies Before You Die. All right, welcome back. We're doing 1958's Murder by Contract, starring Vince Edwards. This is a very low budget film. It is a very quirky film. It's a lot of fun. It has a great soundtrack, and I definitely recommend this film. It is not at all like the usual film noir fare in that we follow a young man named Claude, played by Vince Edwards. Vince Edwards, if you don't remember, he's uh, in The Killing, where the horrible wife, Sherry Petey, wife of George Petey, played by Elijah Cook Jr. She's played by Marie Windsor, I believe, and she is just that um, awful wife whose boyfriend plans to steal the money after the heist is done. His name is Val, and he's played by Vince Edwards. That might be his most famous role. I don't know. This is a film, I've seen this one a couple times. I really like this one. So he plays Claude. Claude wants to buy a house. He's a young man who has ambitions, but he doesn't want to have a traditional job because it's going to take way too long. So he decides he's going to murder people. He has no criminal background, and he just basically shows up to some crime contractor's house and offers his services. And eventually they do hire him, and we see him do a couple jobs. We see him sort of planning for them. He never wants to use a gun. That's one of his things. He always wants to use something sort of in the environment. So it's kind of cool. The film sort of um, goes into sort of the kind of technical aspects of him planning these heists. But then the film takes its twist. The setup here, he has to go out to California to do a job, and he finds out that it's a woman. And for some reason, this really throws him for a loop. He does not want to be murdering women, I guess. He says they're unpredictable. Maybe there's the sort of the moral factor to it. And this is where we meet his two sidekicks. They're picking up from the airport. They are Mark and George, played by Philip Pine and Herschel Bernard. These guys are basically our sort of funny, um, uh, pretty sympathetic characters. I like them. We sort of This is almost a little bit like Pulp Fiction, where we get to see behind the scenes, of the criminals. So they pick him up from the airport. He wants to see the sights. They're getting stressed because the days are ticking down when he has to kill this woman who is a witness to an important case that's coming up. And instead of planning, he's just, yeah, seeing the sights. He's going for a swim, and he's stressing these two guys out. And a fair chunk of the film is taken up by this. Which again, it reminds me of Jules and I forgot Vincent Vega's journey in Pulp Fiction, where we sort of see them behind the scenes, right? Um, and yeah, so we see them planning for this caper, and I won't tell you how it works out, but it is a fun little film. The score is amazing. It's just this guitar. It reminds me a lot of The Third Man with Orson Welles. It has that same sort of vibe, sort of quirky vibe the soundtrack does. And the whole film kind of does. It's 1958, and it has a bit of that 60s flavor to it, sort of that weird, I can't even describe it. Just this sort of 60s sensibility creeps in a little bit to the film. Um, Definitely worth a watch. 1,000 Movies Before You Die. Yeah, I'd say it's in the the I don't know what to call it, the dirtier half, the dirtier 500, the lower 500, I guess we'll call them. Maybe in the lower 500, but the upper 500, I don't know what, like a higher number up. Maybe somewhere in the 800th movie, that you should see before you die. Definitely a good Vince Edwards film. He's definitely the star here. The other people, I've never heard of them before. Give this one a whirl. It's short. It's um, not that much happens, but it's a fun watch. There you have it. Our review of Murder by Contract, 1958, starring Vince Edwards. It's one of the thousand movies before you die. Go check it out. Get busy watching or get busy dying.